It's Judy on the radio, building dreams and achieving more, telling it just like it is. Most of all, keeping it real. Are you ready for real talk? Changing lives and communities. Real talk. Saving all our families. Real talk. Bringing hope for you and me. Real talk. Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio. Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio.
Well, welcome to the Real Talk with Judy live radio show. I am Dr. Judy, your Real Talk host. I want to thank you for being with me today, Tuesday, February the 23rd, 2021, right here on Hallelujah 95.3 FM. Want you to, we're also on Facebook Live. Some of you are viewing us now. Instagram, YouTube at Real Talk with Judy Live Radio. I want you to take a few seconds on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and go ahead and share it now. Go ahead and share it now. This is going to be a great show, I promise you. And if you're at your desk or wherever you are, hurry up. Please contact your family, your friend. Call, text them, email them, and let them know Dr. Judy talking about real issues with real people who have been there and done that. We're having real conversation and giving out useful information, just keeping it real with Dr. Judy here on the air with the Real Talk with Judy show. So hurry and get them on. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, I invite you to subscribe today at the Real Talk with Judy live radio show. Also, if you have not yet liked my Facebook page, do so now at the Real Talk with Judy. I want to say hello to my mother, Dr. Dr. Irma Hunter Wesley, the reason I am who I am. And if the Lord say the same, her birthday is this Thursday, February the 25th, and we will be celebrating her 82nd birthday. Happy birthday, Mama. And to my mother-in-law, Mother Henrietta Mandrell, her birthday was Sunday, and we celebrated her 93rd birthday. Again, happy birthday, Mother. And Dr. Marcellus Torres celebrated her 55th birthday yesterday, and Sister Yolanda Smith will celebrate her birthday Wednesday, the 24th. February is a very special month. Amazing people have been born in February. We take nothing away from the other month, but I'm telling you that February is something else. To my amazing husband, Superintendent Dr. Gerald Mandrell, Senior Pastor of Life Changes. He is the reason I get to do what I do. And to my amazing team who helps me deliver an award-winning show to a great audience every Tuesday, want to say thank you. And to you, the greatest audience ever. Thank you for tuning in to the Real Talk with Judy live radio show. And to Angus Holden in Scotland, my brother-in-law, who does not miss, who gets his family ready and his friends ready for being my UK PR director. Want to say thank you. And to all of the business investing sponsors of the Real Talk with Judy live radio show, which are being scrolled on the screen. Thank you for your continual investment partnership. You are the wheel of the Real Talk with Judy. And I personally invite those of you who have yet to become one of the investing partners in the Real Talk with Judy live radio show to consider becoming one. Go to my webpage, www.realtalkwithjudy.com, for more information on becoming a Real Talk with Judy investing partner. For the month of February, we have been dealing with the series, The Power of the Black Family. We have been dealing with the power of the Black family. I want to say good morning, first of all, to all of you who are tuned in to the radio station, Hallelujah 95.3 FM. Then I want to say good morning to all of you who are on Facebook. Thank you. I see you coming on. I want to say thank you so very much. If you would, go ahead and share now. Go ahead and share now. And those of you, we have some who have even stated that they have downloaded the app. I ask you if you would. You can download the app and hear us all over the world. Download Hallelujah 95.3 and you would get the app. to download. To those of you YouTube, thank you so very much. My co-host for the month of February is the 100. Hello, Cindy from Scotland, and looking forward to seeing all of y'all. Deborah Lord, Doris Young, Moria Vaughn, etc. Everybody, thank you so very much for being on. My co-host for the month of February is the Director of Membership Engagement at United Partners for Human Services Incorporated, has extensive experience in nonprofit management, community engagement, leadership and program development, a foster home supervisor at the age of 22. She worked at Pace Center for Girls for 15 years. She helped expand the program from serving 45 girls to 70. In 2016, she was awarded the Department of Juvenile Justice DJJ Leadership Award. She received the Unsung Shero Award from the Oasis Center for Women and Girls. 2018, DJJ awarded her the Outstanding Youth and Family Award. 2018, PACE presented her with the statewide Creating Partnership Award. 2020, she received the Golden Ace Award, was one of TCC's Women History honorees, one of the Tallahassee 25 Women to Know. She's a member of Leadership Tallahassee, Class 34, currently on several board of directors, chair of the Tallahassee Leon County Commission on the Status of Women and Girls. She is married and has one son. In her free time, she enjoys thrift store shopping and reading. Welcome, my February co-host, the one and only, my friend, my sister girl, LaShawn Gordon.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Pastor Jay. How are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you, LaShawn?
I am good. I am good. This is show number 4, and the month has been just powerful. Taking a deep dive and getting a chance to know people a little bit better. I'm excited this morning to have some of our community faith-based leaders on the call. So let's go.
Let's go. So we're getting ready to go to. We have three power couples as our guests for today, three power couples. And I want you all to go ahead and contact families, contact men. We have men on here. We have women on here. I want you to go ahead and contact. We have strong families on here. Again, to everyone who's tuning in, I want to say good morning to each and every one of you. Thank you so very much for joining the show today. My first couple have been married for 10 years. They met the summer of 2007 at Life Changes Church. Started dating in January 2008. He proposed August 2009, and they got married July 3rd, 2010. But he was keeping that thing going, wasn't he? And they have 3 children: Doug Jr., who's 26, Sierra, who's 25, and William, 23, and the love of their life, one grandchild, Safari Kingston Belcher, who is 4 but will be 5 very soon. There are many memorable moments, but one comes to mind is my husband proposal to me at our wedding day. His memorable moment will probably be something recent, like his 2020, like his surprise 50th birthday party. Please help me welcome Douglas and Carolyn Waddell.
Good
Hello.
morning. Good morning, everyone.
Y'all ready?
Always.
As
Morning,
always,
morning.
we're so glad to have y'all here. We're so glad. Good morning, Maria. We're so glad to have y'all here. This is going to be a great show. My next couple have been married for 14 years. 14 years they have been married. July 29th, 2006. They have 2 children. No grandchildren because they're 2 children, too young to have children. And y'all will see. One of the coolest pastors, I think they call him the coolest, oh, don't they call him the coolest pastor in Tallahassee, I believe. And his wife is definitely one of the praying women in Tallahassee. And they couldn't just think of one memorable moment, but they're going to give it to us. Help me welcome the one and only Anton and Shawana Elwood.
Good
Hey,
morning.
good morning. Good morning.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, and we do not hold it against you. that you graduated from Bethune-Cookman. We think that
Good,
is awesome.
good,
Yes, sir.
good.
Y'all see him, don't you? He ready. He ready. My final
He
couple
ready. He
for
ready.
yeah, he ready. Isn't he? My final couple for today's show have been married for 29 years. They have 4 children. They have 5 grandchildren. And up to this point, one of her most memorable moments is when all the children was born, her husband was there. That's powerful. And up to this point, one of his most memorable moments, taking all 3 of his boys to the movies to see The Lion King. Rudy Jr. was 6, DJ was 4, and Jacoby was 6 months. Jacoby was strapped to his chest. Welcome, my guest, the one and only Rudy and Katrina Ferguson.
Mhm.
Well, hello. Hey.
We're so good.
We're so
We're
glad
so
to be
glad to
here.
have y'all. We're so glad to have y'all. And y'all can tell we have some of the most down to earth leaders on the show today. And they are doing some amazing things too as a family. And they all are impacting Tallahassee and beyond. And today we are glad to have y'all on the show. LaShawn, you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All
Let's
right,
go.
we about to go. We about to go. So for the month of February, as I've stated, our focus has been on the power of the Black family in the Black community. Today, our focus is Black families, the strength of the Black community. And that's what I believe. I believe that the families are the strength of our community. What comes to your mind when you hear the Black family is the strength of the Black community? Let's start with you all, Waddell. What comes to your mind?
I mean, babe, I can go. One of the things that I think is interesting about that comment, um, you know, I just heard a quote recently that families are the link to our past, and and the the link also the bridge to our future. And we really come from our heritage. Our heritage is really what makes us who we are. And when you have strong families, when you have families who are planted and rooted in not only tradition but love and also unconditional love, it truly builds you and prepares you for your future wherever you're at.
Carolyn, what's your thought?
When I think of the Black family in the community, I look at the Black family as an entity of diversity. We come from many backgrounds and different things, and just looking at our upbringing, that it was one of unification, that the Black community, that the Black families stood together. We helped raise each other's children and things like that. We got our values from each other, and it was just a sense of unification, togetherness, and helping each other out in our communities.
Yeah. El Woods.
Yeah, I was just considering the question and thinking about even if you come here to Tallahassee, you think about Bond, you think about South City, you think about Frenchtown, and the magnitude of what the family means to the community. The people across the street, well, you used to cross the street, down the street, next door. You knew, all the families, like my sister said, Waddell, everybody kind of knew you were, Miss Davis lives over there, Miss Jenkins lives over there, her sons and her cousins, and the good ones that's going to do good. And then, well, he always been in trouble, So our communities are great because of the magnitude of, especially just sitting out, who's sitting out on the porch, whether she's being nosy or being the watchdog of the community, it.
That's true.
And so that is what to me has made our community strong throughout the years.
Yeah, I would ditto what my husband said, and definitely what Carolyn said. It is a sense of definitely unification, variety. We have so much of variety, right? So it's always entertainment. You get a lot of entertaining moments from our community. But that's what makes us special. That's what makes us stick out. That's what makes us unique, because we bring so many different parts to our community. And that's what I love, the variety of it all.
Yeah, yeah. Ferguson's. This is good. This is already real talk. We're already getting questions. So y'all be ready. Go ahead, Ferguson's.
Well, I definitely would agree with everyone. Lady Ferguson and I, we grew up pretty much in the same community. We didn't know each other at the time, and God is so good to make sure that she didn't know who I was at that time, because, yeah, we wouldn't have been dead as I was a mess. So with that being said, but the fact is that we both grew up in the Griffin Heights neighborhood, and we know the glory days and the glory years of it. And when we decided to go into this thing called pastorship and first ladyship, if that's the word, we wanted to go back to what it used to be. And like Pastor Anton Elwood and his wife said, you know, just the sense of knowing who's on the porch, knowing who's got your back. There was a situation years ago when my kids were coming home from school, and, you know, our parents, as parents, we have to work. But we had a neighbor across the street who saw my kids going in the house on her own with some girls. And so the man across the street was like, I'm gonna tell your daddy. I'm gonna tell your daddy as soon as you get home. You better. A sense of having that type of camaraderie and that type of unification, it always enhances. And those are the days we truly miss. We miss those days, and we're really trying to get those days back where you can go get a cup of sugar, a cup of milk from the next door neighbor, you know, and you didn't have to pay it back because mom said, can she borrow a cup of milk? And that was the type of stuff that I think gave a sense of community, you know, especially where we live at now in the Griffin Heights neighborhood.
So I did over what everyone is saying. And one word for me, think about the Black family and the Black community, I just think of the word village, because it does take a village to raise the people, the children today, and just having that unification, just having everybody knowing each other, just that village. What the village does, what is the village doing for each other?
Mhm.
And I know you said that we want to work to get back to that. Do you all think that we can get back to that? Do you think that? And I know I'm about to ask two questions, LaShawn. Do you think that we can get back to
I
that?
got one
Do you
too.
think that? Do you think as a family we have lost the power in our community? I know those two different questions, but just listening to you all talk, um, I just know we have to do something. What do you all think? Then we have a question on the board, and what do you all think about that?
Pastor Judy, I think when it really comes down to it, especially now with social media and the things the way they are, it's almost like recruiting in football. All you hear about are all these scholarship guys getting all these offers and opportunities to go to school, but there are millions of thousands, hundreds of thousands of other young men who are doing well, young men and women who are doing well, getting opportunities. It's very similar in that way to me. There are so many wonderful families out there still doing well. But what we hear about are the ones who have the struggles. And I
Right.
think, like this program is doing, it's allowing us to start seeing the ones who are doing well. And that's what we need to continue to do, to continue to focus on it. I think there definitely is a strong contingent that's still there. Absolutely.
So I wanted to ask you all something, and I love this call because I'm a big proponent of generational leadership, and what I see is multiple generations across the call. But we often work with a lot of young families, and a lot of people a couple years in, they say, it's not even worth it. I'm not, you go your way, I go my way. So I wanted to ask you all about your family values. What is that advice for that young couple out there that is struggling to make it and they're ready to throw in the towel? Because now, you all talked about it, that sense of community and family, it often gets lost. So
Yeah.
what is your advice for those younger couples out there trying to establish their family values?
I would say get back to the basics. Get back to the core of what made you who you are. I know for us is our friendship. you know, so we're friends first before any and everything. So we can laugh, we can joke, we can play. So when it gets time to really have those really hard, tough conversations, you know, we know how to approach each other. But for the couple that's starting this thing off, know that it is a marathon. It's a journey. It's not one day sprint and you're going to just be happy and get there. It's a long process, but to be kind to each other and grace each other. We need the grace, the same grace you want. You got to give the grace so that you can receive the grace. And that's not always easy now. Trust and believe. It ain't easy.
You gonna put my business out?
No, I'm not. I'm trying not to.
I hear you later, Elwood. Yes.
But it's definitely worth it, though. It's definitely worth it. So just be patient. You have to learn how to really be patient through this thing.
Well, and also every couple that I could imagine that I have a chance to counsel with, one of the statements that I made is that our friendship saved our marriage.
Yeah.
That we were friends first. And it is I think we both went through at some point in time about trying to figure this thing out, what exactly a wife is and what exactly a husband is. And it almost makes me celebrate my mom and dad a little more. They've been married, almost 40 years. And it makes me celebrate because like, God have mercy. Well, how did y'all do this?
Yeah.
But get to the point of where even when we were trying to figure that out and sort through that, we were always friends. We could watch the game together. We can hang out together. We can laugh together. Yep. And so it's establishing first, build something for real.
For real, yeah.
So that when this side gets hard, you always have something that's firm for you.
Oh, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And if I would say something, I would say to that young family out there, that young couple out there, don't compare your things that you're trying to implement into your home or as family value to another family, or understand, we tend to follow the model that how we were raised, but and some of that is good and some of that is not. So you want to, how to. When you're in church, they tell you eat the meat and spit out the bones, as I'm saying it right. You want to apply that what best fits your home, that so that everyone can grow in the home and that you have that core value that fits your home, not everybody else's.
One of the things, and I agree with my wife, and the unique thing about our relationship is that we got married at the age of 20. And that's 1992. Neither one of us had the slightest inclination of what marriage was. And we were still trying to figure out who we were going to be as adults. But we did know we loved each other. And so, of course, it was a very hard task to become a father and a husband in a matter of just at the age of just turning 20, in fact. And actually going on 21 when my son was born, Rudy Jr. And Lady Ferguson was still 20. And so in the reality of it all, when we decided that we were going to do this, we had to really get more counseling to make sure that we were still headed in the right direction, because you can get misled when you're watching movies and you think you can end up modeling your relationship, your marriage after Ike and Tina if you ain't careful. So you have to be very spiritual and stay in church. And I always say this after I've married couples. I've married quite a few, and I'm pretty sure Pastor Anton is with married couples. The thing that I've always told people in their marriages is number one, your marriage is your marriage. It's not meant for Facebook and social media. What is happening in the world, what you're going through, because somebody said, well, our match is made in heaven. All matches made in heaven are still in heaven. We got to work on these down here. And that's the reality of it all, is don't stay on the honeymoon, stay on the wedding day, because that's the most important day of them all. So
I agree with that.
Stay on the wedding day. You know how much money y'all spent on that wedding.
Hello, Waddell, what you say?
For me, for us, I believe that one of our family values was communication was a key thing for us, because of course, when Doug and I got married, I came into the family because Doug was previously married before and had 3 children. So for me, me coming in, never been married, not having children. I've raised kids because I had my god kids and I was the youth director. So for me, it was coming in, just looking at the dynamics of our family and making sure that we had open communication with each other. Laying down the foundation of what it's going to be, what it's not going to be, because we had to deal with the other parent as well, and also asking for help because I didn't know everything, and reaching out to people that I trust that was going to give me good sound advice how to deal with a blended family, and things like that, and just having that communication with Doug and I, having that united front that we're going to stick together, and even if we disagreed, we wasn't going to disagree in front of the kids. We're going to take it into the bedroom and we're going to discuss it, but we're going to always have that united front in front of the kids, that I don't care what happens, they know that we're united, that we're going to stand together, and that we just really communicated, let the kids have a voice with issues and things like that to express to us. Not that it may change some things, but we want to let them know that they were important in this family as well, and it just wasn't about just me and dad.
And for me, I think I totally agree with you, babe. I think for me, I just had to listen and hear because I didn't know everything. I thought I did. I had to, sometimes your pride as a husband, as a man, can be the thing that'll kill you. But I had to listen, and once I really understood the value of my wife, she added and made me so much better. And, once I really grasped that concept when we got married, and it didn't take long. It took about 2 hours. It was a blessing because she let me know quick. Look here, quick. But I think not only that though, I think just like Carolyn said, really coming together from the outset that it's us. I mean, look, if mama, because I'm gonna tell you, our children now, I'm gonna be real, and they probably on here. But our children, they used to do that. They used to run them games, and they would come to, they thought, I was the easy one. They would come to me. So then I would say, yeah. So what we used to do is go back and forth. So then we got so good at it. My question was always, what did mama say?
Right.
What'd your mom say? And so that always worked. And so we still do that to this day. We just work as a team. We really, really are a team. And, and that's how we are. And you would not know. There's some people probably right now when Carolyn said that I had previously been married, probably be shocked to know that Carolyn had just come into the marriage. Shocked because they are literally her children. I mean, they talk to her more than they talk to me.
You sound jealous.
I am.
Hey, but that's real talk, and I love that you all are really. I love that. Okay, we're gonna answer your question in just a moment, Morningside. I love that you all are answering. I mean, you all are real. We got 3 real men on here, and we got 3 real women, which equal 3 real family. Doug said it took him 2 hours. But one of the things I know with this new couple, one of the things that you can hear is being said is going to take teamwork, and your first years, give it time to grow.
Right.
Give it time to grow. You won't know you. It's not going to be what it is in
Right.
10,
Right.
16 and 29 years, 39 years for me and my husband. It's not going to be that. It's not going to be that. But these first years, man, they're going to be something. I like to tell Pastor Elwood. I like to tell this one. When my husband and I was dating, that man had the. I mean, I thought he was OCD. Oh, what is it? OCD. I mean, when I would go to his apartment, it was, oh my goodness. I was like, wow, this man here. I mean, no dust anywhere. I mean, his shoes was always in. I'm like, my God, the kitchen was spotless. His bathroom was immaculate. I'm like, man, I'm married the cleanest guy in the world. We got married, and he
No.
came home. His shoe was at the living room door. His socks were somewhere. I'm like, yeah,
What
I'm telling on your
happened?
pastor. I said,
Oh.
Gerald, what are you doing? He doing what? I said, well, we got married. He told me, it's you. I see them books over there, so I'm just following suit. I said, no. So I appreciate y'all so very much. And Sean, you know how long you been married to Sean?
15 years.
So we got it on here. Cindy from Scotland said, what do we mean black family? Because her family mixed. And her family ain't just mixed. She passed the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
Um, she way past it. She married a Scotsman. She got 2 children. So let's talk about the black family. When she said, what do we mean the black family? She's black, but I'm gonna go ahead and put you out there, Cindy.
Well,
Cindy is my sister. She's black, Pastor. She's black,
praise the
y'all.
Lord. Praise
But
the
y'all go ahead.
Lord. Praise the Lord.
Y'all go ahead. For some of
Well, I
the
just
other,
think there are indigenous things to the black family. That we have our own set of issues. We have our own
come
set
on.
of things that we deal with just being black.
Yes.
The training that we have to put our kids through. I'm gonna say it one more time. The training
Man,
that we
that's
have to
it.
put our kids through is just different.
Yeah.
So you cannot bunch us all into one just monolithic kind of thing. We think different. We have to, and so we have to work twice as hard. We have to help our kids to understand what they have to face in the world. I think about people like Ferg, who has not only raised his kids, but raised the community, and just been there for, other families. There's not always a strong man in the house. There's not always, an attentive woman, and all of these different things. So I just think it's important for us to realize that no matter what the world says, and I'm not saying that this question was criticism in any way, but I am saying that there are just some indigenous issues that pertain to us that we have to be real enough to deal with.
And
Well
I
said,
even
well said.
talk first. Go ahead, Pastor.
No,
I
go ahead, my
yield to
brother. I
you,
was
sir.
just commending him. Go ahead.
I totally agree, and I even say, the microaggressions that our children face, that we face, the stressors, the I hate to say this like this, but it is what it is. Almost like the combat that we deal with, the trauma we deal with every day as Black families, the concerns, the worry, those types of things that you deal with when you walk out the door. And if your children are going to come back, or if they're going to be okay in school, and those types of things, or wherever they are, those things don't stop, and they are specific to the Black family. And until we really recognize that, sometimes we're afraid to talk about those things, but those things are traumatic in itself. And so some people say, well, why are we, that's over. I get those friends who like to say that's over. That's the past.
No.
That's every day. And then, so we have to literally, I love that, Pastor Elwood. We have to literally teach our kids a book, give them a book of help so that they can survive.
Almost, yeah.
Well,
So
I
y'all
definitely.
been on- Oh, go ahead, Pastor Ferg.
No, I'm sorry. I was going to say that I really admire what Pastor Anton and what Brother Widow said. It was so important because our grandfathers, if you look at those old pictures for our great grandparents, they don't smile. They just take a picture. And there's no smile. And I always ask that question. I said, "Why grandma and great granddad didn't smile?" They said they didn't have a reason really to smile because life was so hard for them. And because they were so stern, it wasn't that they didn't love us or my father, and my father didn't love me. It was that they were preparing me as a Black man to be prepared to live in a white America, and that was so important. And it's been indicative as you look around now with the Black Lives Matter movement, that racism and prejudice still exists, and more in particular for the Black man and the Black family. If there's any organization that I would say, and I mean this, if there's any organization that has dismantled the Black family, it is something that used to be called Health and Rehabilitated Services, HRS. And so therefore it had gotten so bad that they had to change the name to Children and Family, because the mission of that organization really dismantled Black families in particular. And when you look at it now, it is so important for us as a Black family to remind our children, even our grandchildren, of where they come from and where they still have to go. So that's when I echo what Pastor Anton and the brother and Brother Woodell said. I think it's so important, and it's nothing against the white community. It is more so for the Black community, because prior to all of this, prior to times changing the technology, the Black community was always the Black community that looked out for the Black community.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that means black. That means Black people. That's Black people. Us, Black people. We know that we have a lot of mixed families, which is okay. We love them, but there's something that happened in a Black family. You got a Black mama, whether she's single or married. You got a Black father, whether he's single or married. We have those parents, those big mamas, those aunties who are Black, who have been part of this Black movement, this Black family, who I believe are the power of our community. I believe that it's going to take the Black family, and it's take nothing away from the other races who are helping, but we can relate, and we must teach our children that Black don't crack. Now, we just and then we have to teach us to stick together. We really do. We have to teach the Black people to stick. Whether you live in Tallahassee, it's Kern, Ox Bottom, or wherever. Whether you live in those areas, you're still Black, and we have to reach back and help each other. Our Black neighborhoods, our Black children are getting hurt, and it's gonna take us Black. I'm gonna tell you what I love about today. Number one, I love that we got husbands and wives on here. All of us have been through different things, but we got husband and wife. And who's taking over the conversation? The men. I no, but it's okay, because sometimes we don't hear enough men
From them.
voices
Yeah.
saying anything. But look at all of these women sitting here supporting our Black men.
Mhm.
All right.
We
Go
don't
ahead,
we don't
Miss
we
Shirley.
don't get a chance to talk too much at home, so we don't mind. We do our stuff in the
Y'all, y'all trust me,
That's why we
y'all
talk so
trust
much in
me
the
right
pulpit.
here.
When you give us the microphone in the pulpit, we get it all out there. Because we
That's it. That's it.
Oh
Amen
God.
to that, preacher.
Oh God.
I did
Ladies.
want to ask you all though, so y'all hit on a lot of important stuff, and Pastor Jay and
Yes.
I talk about this all the time because we work together with families quite a bit. But talk about the role that the church play when it comes to families. I know for me, growing up, we was at church quite a bit with my grandma, and you just didn't have a choice, and and all that kind of stuff. We ate at the church, we did everything at the church, but things have changed quite a bit. And I know for me, it's certain things now that the mothers of the church, I just will not say yes ma'am, no ma'am, because that's just sacred to me. And so just kind of talk about the role that the church plays in the Black family, and where do we need to get back to, because somewhere a shift happened, and I think we need to get things realigned.
For our family, it was no ifs and buts about it. They were going to be in church. Bible study, Sunday morning, sunshine band, purity band, whatever they had, they knew they were going to be there in church, and they were going to be involved in church. They wasn't going to sit there and like they don't want to be there. Even if they didn't want to be there, they're going to put on a smile. They're going to participate in the choir. They're going to participate, step team, whatever they had, youth activity, they're going to have. And that, I believe that's a significant part of being in the Black family, going to church, because there were some values instilled into our children, into us, to help us succeed as a family. And it wasn't down here these days. They ask the kids if they want to go to church. It was ask. They didn't have a choice. If you lived on the road until you get your own place, church is one, and we're going to worship. And we taught them the importance of worshiping God, what it meant to worship God. We had our Bible studies and our teachings at home, so when they got to church, they knew. But it was no ifs and buts about it, because I believe the church is a great community for our families. I mean, not only it teaches us a spiritual aspect, but it helps us with our everyday lives if we really be in tune. And I think that's what we need. We need to go back to church. we need to put that back into our families of worshiping God. The importance of that, because it takes a village to raise our children and to help us in our marriages, in our relationships and everything. I believe church is a great, great, great aspect of the family.
Amen.
And I want to say too, of course, I don't know, everybody know I grew up in the church. I'm a PK, I'm a preacher's kid. And it's 5 of us. Yeah. So we grew up in the church, like you said. We went to church Monday through Friday. My daddy is still having 3 services a day: midday Bible study, nighttime service, morning service, and then come back again for appreciation. So I mean, but for me, when I was younger, I didn't understand it. You know, like, wow, we're in church, but we had to go. We had no choice, like my sister said. However, now as an adult, you understand it so much more. So it's about getting your child to that place, knowing that whatever was instilled in them, they're going to need it as they get older. I tell my kids, my son and my daughter know how to pray. They've been praying since they can open up their mouth and say thank you. So they understand the importance of a relationship with God. And that's the thing that's going to matter. So we're not just going to church, y'all. We're going to church, of course, to be poured into, right? To help our families to grow and to be strengthened and to be restored. But also other people are connecting with us and we can pull on their strength and their power as they're going through their situations, and they can encourage us. So family then now becomes a community. It becomes a family. It becomes a group of people that are feeding each other and living together and helping each other grow and thrive. So it's a really powerful dynamic. If you even looking at the struggle as a Black community and Black family, they always went back to the church. It was a source of not just meeting, but it's a source that we can get here and get encouraged and get hope to keep on pushing, to keep on making it. Like my husband said, and Brother Douglas said too, it's a training that we had to go through. But guess what? The core part of the training was Christ. It was the prayer life. It was the relationship with God that kept that train moving and trucking. So we cannot forget about the thing that keeps us moving and trucking in the right direction. Not going back, y'all, but it's moving us forward. We have to remember that when we're teaching our children. This is going to help you, y'all. Trust me. I know they feel like we don't know everything right now, especially my 11-year-old. But I tell her, just keep living. Like my mama told me, keep living. You're going to see. And sure enough, they'll understand it. But make it fun too. We have to continue. We have to go back to making church fun and creative and active. So at our church, my daughter and my son love go to church. We going to church today? We going? And I said, y'all, wait a minute. Just give us a break. We the pastors, we need a break too. But no, but love to go to church and to be involved. So it's just so much. Just be creative in what you're doing. What works for your community? What works for your church?
I did this right quick. I have this statement that I say I get in trouble for, because I clearly believe that it takes a village to raise a child. I do believe in 2021, we got to watch the village. Keep your eyes on the village.
Yes,
Amen.
Exactly.
Amen.
I go further, but I'm going to leave that.
But you're right. Amen.
Correct.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Just add
Anyone else want to come in?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Just add a little bit in talking about the church and within the Black family. Definitely is as we talk about it being a value or a core part of the family. The church is that. The church is that. It's more than just going to church, as others have said. It's more than just going to church, but what is being taught in the church that's going to help the family. And that's one of the things that, as a PK kid myself, just church all the time. And there were some things that I didn't like about the church growing up. And when I started having my own family, I was like, okay, let's see how what I've learned in church and apply it to my family, and how would it fit my family. The part we all talked about, whoever in your house, we all gonna serve the Lord. Everybody gonna serve the Lord in my house. Everybody going to church in my house. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. There's no question about that. So knowing that, your kids knowing that, you have to look at it to whereas, okay, as Pastor Lady Elwood was saying, okay, they may not like Bible study, but you as the parent in your home, how can you make that creative? How can you make that fun? How can you make that interesting to your children? So it goes back to yet the parenting style. You know, a lot of the parents now they leave the church to raise their kids, or even though the church is important, but again, at the end of the day, it's what the parents,
That's right.
it's the
That's right.
parents, what the parents first parent as a black parents, what have you learned in the church,
Mhm.
and what are you teaching your kids in when you get back home? What are you sharing with them? Because at the end of the day, as Carolyn had mentioned, that it's going to be it's a part of their lives when they leave your home. You know, that teaching, that training, that you've learned in church, and now that your children are learning in church, when they leave your home, what's the value there? What's the standards there? What's the morals there that you learn from the church? So church most is very important. Most of all, it's very important in the black, certainly in the black home.
Amen. I did know what she said.
And I,
Well, you
and
know,
I agree.
I totally agree because, and it may not seem like they are getting it, but our kids come back today and they tell us and they thank us for making them, as they call it, go to church because those same values and the things that they learned in church, they take that with them in their everyday life to help them with everyday situations. And so they may think you're being mean or hard on them, but in the long run, they will appreciate
Yeah,
That's right.
yes, yes.
them
Mhm.
participate and being active in church because those values go a long way, even into
That's right.
adulthood. And they will think back on those different things that they learned in Bible study, sunshine band, Sunday school, even praise and worship,
Mhm.
listening to some of the things that the pastor, because we may not think that they're listening to the teacher and they're watching. They're watching our actions. They're
That's
not
right.
watching what we say, but they watching how we handle situations, and they think
Mhm.
that those things, and they apply that to their everyday life. So it's very important. The church community.
Yeah.
Mhm.
you know, I think that.
That's go ahead. Who's that? Go ahead. I'm enjoying this. Go
Oh,
ahead.
you okay, Pastor Jay? You okay? Go ahead.
No, go ahead. My
Uh,
guest.
yeah. So you know what really is interesting about that too is it's so funny when I hear my wife talk about that because it's nothing for our children to come back and say, "Ma, you won't believe what this person said or did. They talking about they Christian, they saved. Now you know if Gma was there, they ain't want Gma now. You know they going back to her because Gma would have called them out. You know. But I think what would have been what's really interesting to me is this: we cannot forget the part of the parental responsibility when you send your kids to church or any other organizations.
That's right.
Mhm.
Church is a microcosm of society. What happens in church happens in society also.
That's
There are
right.
different
That's
groups.
right.
It is what it is. So you as a parent cannot just send your kids to church and then allow them to be in situations and you don't have any idea of what's going on. So that's when kids are getting hurt and being allowed to be, if we
Mhm.
want to be real, being allowed to be, tormented as
Yeah.
they're in church situations. And so until we
Mhm.
get to a place where we choose to really parenting is an
Come on.
active word. It's
Come
not a
on.
word that we sit back. It's an active word. So until we get to a place where we are parenting with a purpose and we are not just sitting back and watching and letting everybody else do what we
Come
supposed to be
on.
doing because we're tired,
Mhm.
we're gonna still
Mhm.
have those issues.
Woo.
Yeah.
Man, this is some good. This is some good stuff. We need more of this. Pastor Ferg and Elwood. This is what we need. We need to bring the families together so families can hear what their responsibilities are. They have responsibility. My goddaughter and I went to Village Inn yesterday, LaShawn, and we were talking. and she told me something. We got some questions on here, and I'm gonna ask Priscilla to pull them up. We were talking, and I really enjoyed her conversation. She said she and her dad was eating, and her dad, she was like, godmama, she said he was trying to get to this point, and I was saying, Dad, does it mean this? And he was saying, well, not exactly. So it took him so long to explain. And when I came back, I said, but do you know what was the most important part of that? She said that we think differently. I said, you didn't. You all thought the same. He just in his generation and you in your generation. But eventually you're showing me the results of that conversation. What I loved about it, he spent time with her talking about his vision to get her input. As the Black family, that's what we do. We talk with each other, and we got to bring that back because my mom and dad gave us that voice. We had to go to church, and right now I appreciate it 100%. I appreciate it. They were tough, but I appreciate it. Well, my mom was. My dad just made us go. He didn't go. Y'all go to church, you know. And then down in his later years, he made all us go. But they made us go. But to hear even our grandsons who come back, our who say, "Thank you, G Ma. Thank you, G Pa. Thank you for what the value that you put in us." They love it. And let me say this: we can't allow other cultures to dictate to us
That's right.
how
That's right.
we raise our children in the Black community. Our Black children need to know Jesus. It's a mean world out there. There's a whole lot of cults. There's a whole lot of Black people always dealt with the church. Black, we dealt, and if your children can't read, you know how they can learn to read? Read the Bible.
If you can learn to read the Bible, you can read anything.
That's right.
That's it. That's it. And teach them fun, but teach them responsibility. We learn that in the church. Let's see this question. Y'all look at it and then come back in and
Yeah, I saw that one when it popped up earlier, and I thought it was
ahead,
a powerful question. But as you know what, just to go back to something else you were just talking about, I was just thinking about those oratorical contests. We start speaking in church. Those, what singer, what world-renowned singer do you know that didn't start singing in church?
In church.
So, I was thinking about that as you were speaking, but to that question, I think as I was considering President Biden coming into office, one of the biggest things that they had going on was the peaceful transfer of power, right? That the last president's team would not leave so that the new president's team could come in. And I think the establishment of that team is powerful. I think one of the first orders of the day is to establish the team. And I think if you look at that question, I think a part of it is just being a good team member, that no matter where you are, no matter where you go, even if you are a visitor coming in, that you are part of the team that is still trying to help the community and haven't forgotten where you've come from. Because I stood in those lines with my grandmother and my auntie. I know what that white box of cereal is with the black writing on. I know what that best grilled cheese sandwich come from that thin and end up thick. I know about
That's
that.
That's it.
My point is, think about Warwick Dunn. Think about Warwick Dunn, who has made a living after his NFL football career of helping single mothers go into homes, their very own homes. Look at people like the Fergusons who live in the community where they serve and where they grew up and where they know. My point is, a part of the team is sometimes not forgetting where you came from and going back to those communities, sowing into those communities and helping those communities. Not that we're just giving gifts to the community, but this is a part of remembering what I felt like as a kid, getting a gift. You know, what I
Mhm.
felt like when that mentor came, or when that superstar came, or when that football player came, or when that rapper came into the community to say, you know what, I come from where you come from, you know, and then thinking about the gift of when you can try to make a life for not only your children, but I think about what my mom and dad did for us. You know, just trying to be a parent nowadays, I'm telling you, my respect for my mom and dad has grown by leaps and bounds. Just thinking about,
Mhm.
my God, how in the world did y'all do this? I didn't see it then. I
Lord.
was thinking, you know how when you was a kid, you wish somebody else was. I wish what you calling them was my mom and daddy, because they looked like they had so much, you know. But but just thinking about it now, and the time that they spent with us, and the things that they did for us, as me and my sister and later my brother, it's just amazing to me. So I think when we do that, I just think it's being a good part of the team, going into the community, no matter where you live, no matter where you live, going into the community and being a blessing to that community. That's part of the team to me.
I love it.
I love that, Pastor Elwood. And I've got to say that, Pastor Elwood, you have been a great teammate in our community. You know, and I love that about as far as the church being applicable, and especially in the Black community. It's important for the churches to work together in light of denominations. It's
Yes.
important for us to remember that we all read out of something called the Holy Bible,
That's right.
and I believe that there are different words and different verses in those Bibles based on denomination. That is so important that once we, as Black churches and Black families in the Black community, continue, or should I say, build a camaraderie and but begin to work cohesively to the situations in our culture and our community, I believe that we can see a change, and I can see that we can hold on to the gifts and the talents that we have in our own community. More importantly, to that point, I would say this is that if we don't invest in our own communities, we can't expect anybody else to come in and invest either. If we allow certain elements, negative impacts to exist, and we as the Black family and the Black church keep our mouths shut with a simple saying, well, we just gonna pray and see what the Lord does. I'm a firm believer that God would not do for man for the things that man can do for himself. And if we can get out there as teammates and work together cohesively in the word of God, in the community, I believe that we'll begin to see that those changes and and the way the Black community used to be prior to all of these other elements that he brought in. So I echo what Pastor Anton has said. That's so important, as we are definitely, and he's definitely a teammate. Got a bigger church, but he's definitely a teammate. Amen.
Well, and that,
I
you know
love
what,
it.
you said that though. It's funny that you said that, because I honor you
Yes,
as my leader in the community.
we do.
I honor
We
you
do.
for
Right.
that, for the work that you do in the community.
Yeah.
But you can ask anybody that will say to me when they ask me a question, have you talked to Rudy Ferguson?
Yep.
You know, because how can you
Amen.
say anything about Frenchtown, Griffin Heights, that area? How can you say anything and not include the name Rudy Ferguson? You're on the front lines every single
That's
day of your
good.
life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
I
that's a part of it. And
appreciate that.
I honor you as my leader. I'll do anything, you know, I'll do anything to help, because I honor you as my leader from that perspective. I'm not just going to try to snatch something from you because my church is big. No, let's go talk to Ferg.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Amen. You know what I wanted to say. I know we want to get there, and you said since you can help me, I saw your financial report. And I'm just joking.
Yeah.
And you met him
Well,
over
You
coming
know,
to
I
church
think
anniversary. Yeah. I'm just bothering you.
man,
God
this
bless
is
you. Thank you, man. Keep the purpose in prayer. Keep the purpose in prayer.
man, this is absolutely fantastic. One of the things I want to say that may I don't know if there's another question or not, Priscilla, on here. But one of the things I want to say, Cindy, my husband, I met my sister, as I said, her husband is Scottish and everything. One thing I think it's important too, and one thing that she does very well is always make those who are part of your team now understand your black culture, even as you're getting to understand others, but bring people to understand that I'm responsible for my family, but I'm also responsible for helping the community. the helping the Black community. Is we have to find solution. I think somebody said it earlier. We borrowed sugar. We paid it back when they borrowed it back, right? That's when you paid it back. You know, give each other rides, and children always was at somebody's home, but the parents, there was a camaraderie, that village in the Black family that really helped all us survive. There was a big mama somewhere. You know, there was a Miss Jenkins, I believe, probably in everybody's neighborhood. There was a and they were there, and you always got that neighbor, whether they're the neighborhood watch or nosy, who always sat on the porch. They always brought a chair out to the end of the sidewalk, and all that. We didn't get welfare, but some of our neighbors did. And that government cheese, y'all can say what you want. That's the best cheese for macaroni and cheese. That's the best, Carolyn. That's the best cheese for the macaroni and cheese. And so, as we prepare to leave, because as y'all know, Church of God in Christ is voting today. And, I got my other monitor on, and when they pop it up, I got to cast my vote. So y'all pray for us, because we're in a very new situation. Our presiding bishop, and I'm going to let y'all talk. That our presiding bishop retired so he can spend his good last years with his family. He want to be with his family. He want to spend more time with his family. And LaShawn, I think you had the question, and I want to give it to them as we leave. He said he has devoted the majority of his life to the church.
Yes.
He hadn't really taken vacations and stuff with his family because he felt like he just had to serve the church. I'm in agreement with serving the church.
Wow.
But he said that he believes now that he need to give what he should have given a long time ago to his family. How do y'all balance? This is going to be the last question. How do y'all balance? Because they not letting us vote yet anyway. So, but how do y'all balance church? And Carolyn, I know you and Lady Ferd. I think Lady Elwood too. I think Pastor Elwood too. I've been in school. All three of y'all. Doug and Carolyn are not pastors, but they might as well be with us. That she's the church administrator. He's the chairman of our board of directors. Y'all have been in school, work. You're doing extraordinary things in the community. Elwoods, you all have young children. Carolyn and Doug, all of y'all children are grown. Ferguson, all y'all children are grown. I believe, right?
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord.
So all y'all have grown. LaShawn, your son is graduating this year from high school, but you've got to get to work more. Tell the audience, and I want each one of y'all, I want the men and the women to discuss this. How do y'all balance all of that?
Well, I can say this, since we have been together a long time and pastoring a good little while now. I think I've asked the Lord for a major blessing. I have the Lord to give me at least another 20 years so that I may be able to retire and go to Key West, so to somewhere down there, and just enjoy my wife and the family, just get away from community work. I believe after that, because I've been doing it a very long time, since I was 17, working for the Urban League. And I believe the best way that we balance ourselves is that we spend time together. We do things together. We take trips together. And then when we're not together, I pull out my old trusted Xbox One and I play some football, some basketball. I do all those different elements just so I can clear my mind from all the things. So I won't get overburdened with the task of what the Lord has given me. And I can also remember that I am human. And so there are some amenities that I like to enjoy. My wife likes to enjoy, shop, and do things of that nature. So the balance is knowing that what to take on and what to leave to another time. Because not everything is necessary or expedient for right now. Some things will come later. So, and I've learned that in my pacing myself as a pastor, And I'm pretty sure my wife can speak for herself because I know she works alongside me in the ministry. Like,
Right.
So just piggyback off of Pastor Ferguson, for me, balancing certain things or different things in my life, I look at it as a season as well. I look at it as in, yeah, I could have went back to school, went to school right after high school, but that wasn't the season for my life at the time. Season for my life at the time, I had my daughter, and I was already a single mother. Yes, I could have went on to school, but I wanted to be more of a mother, want to be there with her. And then I met my husband and needed my husband. So that's point of time for my life at the time. For me, not for everybody else, but for me, that season for me was to be a mother and a wife. And so just knowing that how you balance that, for me, back to comparing to what others do, you can't do what others do in order for it to fit your life and make it more perfect for you or beneficial for you. You have to look at it. What is the best thing for you to do at this time, at this season? Because when you do that, you won't you find yourself making less mistakes, or you'll be more successful. You can meet your goals better or quicker. The vision would be there to help you, and you won't make many mistakes. So for me, the balance, when I balance it out, I look at, okay, is this the right time? Is this the season for me to do this? And I go from there.
Good.
I think for us, well, for me, balance is still a challenge. Still trying to get to that place where I could say that I'm doing a good job at balancing. I have this theory that I believe I'm actually going to write about, is that the calling is very selfish. The calling is a consuming fire. It is selfish. If the calling was an individual, it would be a selfish individual. It wants to be served. It wants to be answered. It will take over every aspect of your life, and the calling is so intrusive that it won't let you do nothing else. It will try to, especially if you don't answer it. If you don't answer the call, it won't let you do nothing else. It will interrupt every single thing until, hey, I'm here. You're gonna give me some attention. And so because of that, I think that's why Paul kind of get into this whole thing about, hey, if you're gonna do this, maybe you shouldn't be married. That's Paul's conjecture. That ain't mine. Because listen, I don't have the gift that Paul said he had. I need. Oh.
I like that.
But with that being said, you know what? In the midst of it all, my wife is understanding, and we definitely work in ministry together. I think a lot of it leans on me from the church perspective. A lot of it leans on me from that perspective, and extremely understanding. She knows that a part of me is fulfilling that calling, but at the same time, she doesn't let me get to the place where, hey, listen, it's our time today. It's our time. Or like going back to Bishop Blake, you listen, I like to see blue water. I love to see that. Let me tell you, Ferg, if you think that water is blue in Key West, you got to see it in Aruba, or you got to see it in Cabo San. Man, that water is, turquoise, pristine blue, and nothing like it. So my point is, hey, we have to do those things, and we have to create. Going back to my mom and dad, they created memories for us, that I still ride on today, and I still remember. And I'm doing the same. 11 and almost 7 years old, my son and my daughter. Let's create memories. Let's see some things. This world is beautiful. Let's do our best to see this world when we can. Now we have to see it through a mask, but hopefully one day we can take that mask off and travel without that over our head. Life is so short, and we have to do the best we can.
Yes, like my husband said, it's a process. Balancing is a process. It's not just you got it down pat, because things happen and life happens. So understanding the process of it all, just reminding each other, okay, when you see your mate or your family member, or your husband get to a point like, dude, you need to go take a break. How about you go take a sabbatical? How about you go do this and I'll handle this for you? And then vice versa, it's a team, right? So each one plays his part. And if he goes and rests, guess what? It's gonna bless my life because he's not gonna be irritable. He ain't gonna be all over the place. He'll be straight. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm gonna put that in. Everything will be streamlined. Everything will be a little bit better. Once you get the rest. Everybody has to get the rest. You cannot avoid rest. You cannot avoid taking care of yourself and resting. So you have to make plans. So even if it's for a weekend, hey, Martin Luther King weekend coming up, let's just do something for the weekend. You don't have to go far, but turn your phones off while you're home. Go outside in the backyard, play baseball, do something for your mind and your spirit to be at rest. Even listen, God rested on the 7th day. If God needed to rest, why don't think we need to rest?
Come on, lady.
Everyone has to take the time. So I just whether it's one day, whether it's an hour out the day, you have to commit to that time, and then be respectful of your mate, of your husband or your wife, and just say, okay, I'm gonna be there for you. You be there for me. Let's just take some time out. We have little kids, so we need all the break we can get, y'all, because they run us. Do you hear me? I know. They keep us busy. So
we pray for y'all. Definitely praying for y'all. We're praying.
So y'all starting over with these grandchildren now. What else?
Babe.
He always
I guess for us, it's so funny because Carolyn and I we're opposites, but yet we're very similar in some ways also. And so, for instance, church, Carolyn was the person. I was raised Methodist. My mama was Baptist. My daddy was AME. I was raised Methodist. So, we got our 45 minutes in. Y'all know we was back home by 11:45. So, we were eating and all. Carolyn went to our church one time and was like, "This it?" And we like, "Yeah, we're going to go to Corral. Let's go. We're going to see this love." So, y'all know, sang our little hymn, we were out. So, so for me, church was important. But when we was going and we first started going, and we were going in, and so I was kind of like the kid, But for me, what I ended up, of course, I ended up falling in love with Christ and falling in love with God. So, when you're in that place, then you don't notice the time. It's like an hour is a second. But the reality for us, though, was this. I was a balance for Carolyn with church, and she was a balance for me with the external world. And, and what happens with us oftentimes, she was able to say, "Okay, babe," because I was coaching football and doing all kind of stuff at Leon and different places in the city. And Carolyn would say, "Okay, babe, you might not want to go to this camp this weekend because we haven't seen you. You've been practicing and at meetings till 9 o'clock at night. And, we need some time." And then I would say, "Okay, babe, we've been at church 5 days straight, 36 hours a day." I'm just playing, Pastor Jay. I'm just playing. And
you better get a new board of chairman.
Don't do that, Pastor Jay. Don't do that. And so we, so I would say, "Well, babe, it's okay." So we really worked together. But I think what it really came down to was that we wanted to see each other win in any situation. And there's an unconditional love that we have for each other that I want to see her win. So if I see her in a place where she is struggling or tired or what have you, my job is, she'll tell you the day I ask her, I'll probably drive her crazy. I'll just yell back there to her sometime, "Babe, you need anything? You want something out the kitchen? You good? And she'd be like, "Yes, Douglas." But I believe that's what it's all about. We have to share each other's not only burdens, but we have to share each other's passions and love for each other. And so when you want to see each other win and you share that type of unconditional love, balance is actually, it's an intentional thing, but it also comes naturally when you share that love for each other.
Amen.
Amen. And to add on to what Douglas said, and as Lady Elwood mentioned, we work together as a team. We communicated. We used the calendar because, with the kids, everybody had schedules, football, cheerleading. We had church. So we had a calendar with everybody's activities and things like that. But we took out time. We had family time, church time, work time, vacation time, and things like that. So for me, balancing at first was multitasking. I mean, I did it well. When I needed my time is late at night. You know, got the kids to bed, everybody, that was my time. And so you find what works for you and you balance that with everything. And so, but the key thing for us was working together as a team, and communicating. That was a big key for us, and to help us balance and make sure that nothing got mixed up, and then being flexible. Because sometimes schedules change, things change, so you had to be flexible. Pastor Judy said, "Hey, I told somebody I'm going to speak. So me serving as her personal assistant, okay, babe, Pastor Judy just gave me this, you got this. And so just communicating and him allowing me to be me and me allowing him to be him. And not trying to stifle that or to change anything, but just work together in harmony. And that was a balance for us, just us doing us and making it happen.
Ooh, this is LaShawn. This is a good show.
We always say it needs to be 2 hours, right?
My Lord. This show has been phenomenal. LaShawn, you have been great. Each one of you have been phenomenal. One of my takeaways from this show is that it is okay to be different. It is okay to be different. We have here three different families. And to me, I love the dynamics of each family. I love how you all love each other. I love how you serve in the church. Each one of you serve your church as well. I am a big believer that what we do spiritually is or who we are in the natural magnify greater even in the spirit. You all are phenomenal. You all are phenomenal husband and wife. And I took off the title because I just wanted y'all to, you're always a Christian. There's no time that you put down that. You're always the man of God. You're always the women of God. I love how you all support each other. And I watch you all. I watch everybody on this show. I watch you. I watch you. And I admire you, every last one of you. Every last one of you. I think that we have three strong men here, very strong men that I greatly admire in the community and what you all do. Three powerful women, strong, powerful women, and you all are absolutely ladies that I greatly admire. You're young ladies, but you carry yourself in such a high manner. The community respect you all. The community respect you three men, and I love it. And I wanted you all to come on because our black family. I think Minister Grissom asked, "How do we?" And you all say that we got to be a part of that team. You all are what's going to. Our family is going to be the strength of our team. I like the realness in it. I like the genuineness in it. We got to be real. Pastor and I've been married 39 years. Every day has been worth it. Every single day has been worth it. We first got married. He don't argue, but I can tell when things used to get on his nerve, or and he just didn't say anything to me. We never argue because he doesn't. I was ready. I came in ready. I came in ready to argue, but he didn't argue. But Pastor got like 200 Bibles. He got like 200 Bibles. He got about 3,000 records. So what is every time he came home with a Bible, after a while, I started saying, "Am I getting on your nerves?" I said, "I've noticed you don't never say nothing to me, but you go buy a Bible." Then he started buying me Bibles. So I figured that was a double whammy. But you know what? I celebrate each and every one of you. You all have made some great comments here today. I'm going to play this over. I'm going to write out some of these comments and post them because we need this in our community. Our black community got to know that our black families,
Yeah.
and we have men and women, our single parents. I love that, Lady Ferd. You said you start off as a single parent. Carolyn, you started out bringing a blend to a mixed family. You all have done well. You all have done well. You know, the different religion, but y'all have done well. Y'all got people listening. Y'all got people making comments. They're showing their respect for you all, and it says a lot. Our black community need us. It need the black family.
And they
Our
need
black,
to see us, Pastor Judy, and they need to see us intimate and loving each other.
yeah. That's why I love when Anton reached over there and grabbed his wife and kissed her. You know, I like that. Ferguson ain't that lady fur from under his armpit. You know, and if Doug was sitting next to you, I'm
Oh
glad he
God.
was,
You probably
because the
grab my
family.
butt like you do us in public. I'd be so embarrassed.
Babe. Okay, now you want to tell everybody. You want to tell everybody what be going on.
Your turn.
But it's good to see that. My family say, Doug, look at Carolyn like he want to eat her.
Mhm.
All right, so we'll keep right on moving. I mean, eat not. Y'all, did I say that wrong? I hope not wrong.
The doors of the
LaShawn,
church is open. The doors of the church is open. Who giving the
LaShawn,
benediction? Who giving
LaShawn,
the
help me.
benediction? The doors of the church is open. Reach
Oh my
out and
Bless
Lord.
touch. Close.
I ain't got nothing to drink.
It's all right.
Lynn, help me, Lynn, help. You know, but it is great. You all are absolutely fantastic. LaShawn has been with me for the whole month of February, and we got some great things
Awesome.
going on in our community. LaShawn, you have done a fantastic job.
Oh, Mo.
More
Thank you,
assist and what's wrong with
best
that?
man. Thank you, my best man. Thank you, sir. He was the
We're
best
gonna
man at
have
my
to do
wedding,
another show.
folks.
We're gonna have to do it at. Well, I can't do it late at night no more because children are up. But anyway, y'all can end
We'll
this
say
show.
this
Y'all
for
will
the,
not be
the
doing
marriage.
that.
We'll save it for the marriage retreat that these three
Okay.
couples will put on.
Oh, I love now, LaShawn. I like that. Did y'all hear that?
You hear
Now
that?
you know. Thank you.
Did y'all hear that?
We
Yes, we
said
heard. I'm still
marriage
Oh
that
retreat.
yeah,
speaking.
That the three of y'all are gonna put together a marriage retreat.
that would be amazing.
That would. Now, which prophet said that? Which
Yeah,
prophet said that?
LaShawn,
Oh, okay. I'm glad to
Prophet Gordon.
Prophet Gordon said it. I love it. So, are there any final remarks? They're asking questions over there. I told y'all I'm going to vote. My vote
Yeah.
gonna count.
Go vote. Please vote.
Thank
Please.
you for having us.
Thank
We
you.
really appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
Pastor
much.
Jay.
I
Thank
told
you
y'all
Thank
so
you
I'm
for
going
being
to
a
much.
vote.
great example for us.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, awesome, awesome. This awesome woman of God. That's you just your love itself, your kindness, your generosity, your kindness. Just what you do for the people itself is it's been seen, and it's I'm I takes it all. I don't know about nobody else, but I takes it all. I take it in, and I just really appreciate just your realness, your transparency, and just being yourself. I think that's
Amen.
one of the things that really connected me with anybody. Just when you just be yourself, you be
Amen.
Yeah.
yourself, you can be the best for everybody else.
Thank you, Mama Judy. Love you so much for just being who you are and what you are, and an inspiration to all of us. Helped us out in our ministry. We got started. You're still doing that today. So again, we are definitely and just in love with your ministry, in love with your personality, and thank you for allowing us to be on this talk show. It is real talk. It is real talk. Thank God for Jesus.
Yeah, real talk.
Thank you, Fergs. I love y'all so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all so much. Well, been another great show. LaShawn, thank you. Come March, Barbara Westcott, who is the executive director of Women Wednesday, is going to co-host with me. That's Women History Month. March is Women History Month. We're going to celebrate some unsung heroes. We're going to, I want to have at least 8 women on. I want to celebrate them who doing some good things in the community that some people don't even know that they're doing it. So
Mhm.
y'all got some women that y'all know that need to be celebrated. Let me know. I want to put these women up front. I want people to know them. I want them to know these women who are making some great, especially if they did something first. They're the first time. Let me know about these women. I know I got some right here. y'all let me know about these women. I want them to shine. Okay. So we will be on the first woman I'm having on is Commissioner Dr. Barbara Sharif, I think Sharif. She's the first Muslim, first black woman. I think she's from Jamaica or somewhere, but she's a commissioner. She was the mayor in Miami. She's running for Congress, but she's going to be on next Tuesday. Powerful, powerful woman. But I want mixture. I want everybody, black, white, everybody. You know. And tonight at 6:30, we're having a meeting because we're called. The Lord has led me, Pastor Edward, Pastor Ferd, Lady Elwood, Lady Ferd, Evangelist Waddell, Ella Waddell. You see, I'm calling y'all by y'all ministry name now. Um, led me to organize a day of prayer for our city, a day of fasting and prayer for our city. And tonight we're going to talk about it. It's only going to be 30 minutes. And we're just going to vote for a date. Um, and everybody's going to fast the way however their Reformation fast. We're not going to say absolute or the Daniel or whatever. But we want us all to start at the same time. It will be 6 a.m. And then tonight we will vote on what time we end. Some people can go to 6, some go to 3, some go to 1, some gonna eat and they're gonna say they're gonna fast from social media. However they do it, our city need the church. Our city need us. Our city need us to
Wow.
go into fasting and praying. So I absolutely love you all. I think y'all forgive me. I know I'm on, but I'm like the CNN news people right now. I'm getting breaking news. The breaking news is they have just put up the ballots. So
All
I love
right.
I love y'all. It has been
No
a
vote.
great show. Absolutely. LaShawn, thank you. You want to say anything, LaShawn, before we go?
No, ma'am. I love seeing faith-based leaders who let their humans show. So thank you all. You all have a great day.
Amen.
Again, I love y'all. Everyone, to all of the audience, Facebook audience, thank you for your comment. Those on the radio, thank you so very much. You all have been chiming in. I got a question. I want to thank everybody. Facebook, YouTube, the radio. Thank you so very much for tuning in to another Real Talk with Judy live radio show. You can join me tonight. Pastor Jared Mandrell will be doing part 2 of Take Heed to What You Hear. That man right there is absolutely nasty. All right, I love y'all. Real talk.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.